What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be removing the cooling system. The first thing we're going to do is make sure the cooling system is completely drained. Now if you haven't drained your cooling system yet, I got a video, the link is in the description on how to completely do that. So let's get started. For removing the cooling system, we will need a 3/8 drive ratchet, a 10mm socket, a flathead screwdriver, a 32mm wrench, an E36 fan removal tool. For the fan removal tool, this is a specialty tool just for these cars. You can find these online if you go on to like a Facebook page local to your area for E36s. You can ask if you can borrow one of these or if someone has one for sale. They're not that expensive. Worst case scenario, you can actually get a piece of metal and make this yourself. You basically just have to drill out a hole on one end of a flat piece of steel and you can use it the same way. So acquiring these is not that hard. It is more than worth your time to go out and get one or make one, as it is very hard to do it without the tool. This tool basically holds the water pump in place while you remove the fan clutch with the 32mm wrench. If you just try to remove it just using the 32mm wrench, you'll spin the water pump with the fan clutch and you won't get anywhere with it. You need this tool to hold it in place. And there are lots of videos online about how to make these. I might make one in the future, but it's easiest just to ask around or go get one for yourself. If you have it, they're not that expensive and you can keep it basically forever, and then you can just pull fans off all day long where you want, or you can lend it out to friends. It's more than worth. I paid $5 for it through a used BMW page and it has more than made its money back in working on cars. After we drain the cooling system completely, the first thing we're going to have to do is take off this plastic panel here. Now there are 4 bolts and 2 pins to get it off. The pins are right here, and the bolts are here, 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 and here, and I believe they are 10mm. I don't have them on, or I've already taken them off, but just unzip those guys and it should pop right off. Now that the plastic shroud is off, the next step is to remove the fan shroud from the radiator. Now there is a bolt right here and one on the adjacent side, and the best way to get access to it is to lift this up after you've taken off the bracket there and sort of pop it underneath, and it gives you some more room to work at that bolt. And these guys are 10mm. Now once those are off, unclip the sensor from the radiator right here, and there's also a sensor on the bottom of the expansion tank, just like that. Now from here there are 2 ways we can go. The first way we can go is to take the fan and the fan shroud out and then take the radiator out. The easier way that I have found is to take the radiator out first and then the fan and the fan shroud. It gives you a little bit more room to use the tools to get the fan out. So we're going to take our flathead screwdriver and unscrew the expansion tank overflow hose. Pop that guy off like that. And now we're going to remove the intake and the mass airflow sensor to get access to the back of the expansion tank hose. That's the hose we're unscrewing right there. If you don't know which one that is, you can follow the hose. You can follow the hose from the bottom of the fan shroud all the way up, around, and then he's right there. And then he should pop right off. And from here the fan shroud should be just about loose. Now the only thing keeping it in is the fact that the fan is actually going to get in your way and you won't be able to pull it out. Now to remove the radiator we're going to have to deal with these guys, and these are lots of fun. So basically you just take a tiny little screwdriver, stick it down in there and sort of push it in and up and sort of work it, and eventually it will just come up just like that. And if you break these guys, you can go get them at any junkyard. They're old plastic pieces and they do tend to break. This is my original one. The one on the other side has already been replaced because I broke it the first time. But just be careful when you're working it up, and nothing should go wrong and they won't break. And there's one right here, and there's one on the adjacent side right here as well. After that, we're going to remove the lower radiator hose on this side, on the bottom, on the radiator side, not the upper side, to get the radiator out first on the bottom side. And that guy is just a simple flathead right down there. Keep in mind when you're doing this, there's a chance that there still could be coolant in the system, so it might get messy even if you've drained the system already. And now you can see our lower hose is disconnected from the radiator. And after that, we're going to remove the upper radiator hose. And we're going to remove him at the thermostat housing side. And that guy is just another flathead right here. And he just pops off like that. And after that, we're just going to slowly work the radiator up. Make sure you have everything unplugged on the sensor side. And this guy's unplugged too, so you're not pulling on anything. The fan shroud does have little plug-ins on the side of the radiator where it sits in, so make sure to lift it up and sort of get it off the hooks. If you look down on the side of the radiator, you'll be able to see where the hooks are, and so you can sort of do like a visual confirmation that everything's on hooks. And slowly work it up. And now that our radiator is out, our fan shroud can move back, and that guy can lift up out too. And now here we have a lot more room to get our tools in to get the fan off. Now for a better understanding of what the fan tool does, I already have the fan off and I'll show you guys how to do that. But basically the concept of how the fan tool works is it just basically sits on two of the bolts. So when you turn your wrench, you can hold the water pump in place while you spin the fan clutch off. Because if you just spin the fan clutch off, you're going to turn the water pump and some of the accessories with it instead of spinning it away from just the water pump. Now, you can make these tools pretty easily. I've seen people do it. And I mean, you don't even have to cut sections out like this. What you can do is cut a hole in a piece of metal, stick it underneath one of the bolts, and then prop it up against another bolt like that. That could also work. So if you can't find any of these online, or if you can't get one, it's pretty easy to make them. So now we're going to take our 32mm wrench and our fan removal tool, and we're going to pull off the fan. So on these fans, right is off, the reverse threaded, so right is loose and left is tight. So I'm going to put our fan tool on first. We're going to put it on two of the water pump bolts, and our fan and our 32 on the fan itself, and sort of put them together like that. And once it's loose, you can just spin it off. And be sure to hold on to it. If you drop it just straight onto the ground, it might break. And that's it. Now the front section of our cooling system is off, so we can get better access to the Vanos unit and the cylinder head and stuff like that. I will be doing a complete cooling system rebuild video later on, where we'll get more into depth into removing the thermostat housing, the thermostat, the water pump, accessory belts, stuff like that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm doing a head gasket repair, and I don't need to replace or pull off any of these. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it fresh, and I'll see you guys later. Because if you drop this straight onto the ground, it might break. Like that.